All right, so our anti-heroes have just left the tavern and are standing outside in the darkening evening, contemplating continuing onwards east. Okay, Thelonious Conch has just come outside after having a much longer chat than the party had initially anticipated. He was supposed to just say, okay, we're out of here now, and ended up talking to these other dudes for about 20 minutes. So I imagine Thelonious comes out. Oh, I must apologize. I was swapping stories with another wizard. Clearly not as great as I am, of course. But yeah.
We have left Emlyn out here far too long. We must move somewhere.
It's not like he's going to rot or die, is it?
I'm going to glance over at Emlyn. Is there, skin peeling off of him already? And
Not really. He doesn't really have skin peeling off. He definitely... His skin tone is considerably paler than it once was, and it's kind of looking a little ashy.
Inside, outside doesn't make a difference. Where you leave me.
Right, and I don't want to stay at this inn. They only have the one room anyway, and it's left enough of an impression.
We still didn't get any more information about where to go.
There are other houses here.
So just start
Right.
knocking?
At this hour, it might not come across as well-intended.
So we make it not well intended.
I could do that.
Well, we could all do that. It wouldn't really help us, would it?
Well, we can often get information by scaring them.
Okay, suddenly the noise from the tavern bleeds out into the streets. As you notice, a woman has stepped out behind, no more than probably about a minute and a half after Thelonious. Quickly, she closes the door behind her, and she's like, rather startled that you guys are all standing right outside.
Ma'am?
I'd like to speak to the old one, please.
Thelonious.
Yeah, you can decide amongst yourselves who is going to play Thelonious at this moment.
Sash, let's hear your Thelonious voice.
Channel the Thelonious.
Let me see what I can do about that. Yes.
I don't know if you noticed me or not, but I was sitting through the arch in the corner with a friend of mine, kind of nearer the fire. I know it's considered very rude in some circles, but I couldn't help but overhear you had a conversation with that shiny fellow in all the armor, and that rather rude and impetuous woman that he was with.
Yes, she was not very nice at all, was she?
Well, I heard her snapping and barking at people long before you came in, and then she clearly treated you and your friends with utter contempt as well, which I'm sure is not at all deserved.
It is my understanding that maybe she was under a foul mood from some occurrences from earlier in the day. It's all to be understood.
Well, I couldn't help but overhear you were asking about the possible whereabouts of some strange woman.
Yes?
Perhaps we should move away from the door.
Oh, yes, of course. And then heading that way.
Okay, she kind of wanders down past the stables. Numerous times she kind of looks over her shoulder, almost like she's expecting to be followed. And then kind of ducks around the side of the stable, kind of close to where the paddock was, where the couple of calves are. And not too far from the tree that Emlyn positioned himself under for an undetermined amount of time. He says, I don't want to be misguiding here, so, what can you tell me about this woman?
See, this is hard, because what can I tell? Also, what would Thelonious know? Also, how would Thelonious word this? She was a whore!
Would you describe her perhaps as a witch?
Well, that would make sense. I didn't previously suspect it, but now that you mention it, it would make a lot of sense according to who she surrounded herself with, and a likened hobby of theirs would probably be magic, so I wouldn't say it's far off to describe her as one.
Do you know what she perhaps looked like, even? Did she
Insert
look kind
words
of
of what I would
black and
know.
sinister?
This sounds like her.
Then I believe she may be close by, hiding in Halsey Woods. And as she says that, she kind of points in a northeasterly direction. See there, the trees? The dark trees on the horizon? That's Halsey Woods. About 6 weeks ago, we started to hear the drums. And some people that have gotten close said that they've even heard chanting, high-pitched chanting, as if some vile harpy was baying into the night, calling upon her evil and sinister wicked master.
Are you sure about this girl?
I'm as sure as I can be. I myself have not heard the chanting, but I've definitely heard the drums echoing in the woods. It started about 6 nights ago, and no one will talk about it much, but since then, some children have been disappearing.
So I'm gonna just like, without a word, walk right up to the woman, staring her down.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say, is that wood a place of power?
He's like,
Thelonious Conch! It smells like lavender.
okay.
Lavender rocks.
Kind of a strange mix of... What an interesting potpourri you've discovered. Rotted corpse and lavender. She says, well, I don't know if I would call it a place of power, but there are many old tales about sinister things that have happened in Halsey Woods.
List them.
Well, obviously, there's believed to be devil worship, or something sinister, something of occult practices. There's the story of the beast of Halsey Woods, that apparently there's a strange creature that sometimes can be seen creeping around near the outskirts of the woods itself. Strange disappearances. There was the old woodsman that about a decade ago used to come into the tavern here, very, very vibrant and happy-go-lucky man, and then one day he went back off to work as he does and returned from Halsey Woods and has never spoken a word since. He passed away about a year ago. But, as I said, about 9 years he remained mute, never said a word.
This sounds like something we should look at.
I tried to enlist the aid of those others, but they didn't seem to believe me, and quite honestly, the woman was so repugnant, I didn't try too hard to convince them. The knight, or priest, or whatever he is in the armour, he seemed pleasant enough, but somewhat pompous, and, well, you seemed a lot more down to earth.
This is the first lead we have, so I think we should go check it out.
How big is the forest?
Oh, well, it's not a forest. It's more of a wood. It's a large wood, to be sure, but it doesn't cover more than maybe 14 or 15 acres.
That's tiny.
I'm going to turn to everybody else, and I'm going to say, we should go now.
Yes.
May I?
Come with us.
I must confess, I do have a motive. No, I certainly couldn't come with you. I'm not brave, and I have no talents that would lend to. I'd just be in your way. But my son, you see, he's disappeared, and I think the woods called him, and I think he may be in the woods somewhere. If you could find him, or possibly even some of the other children, and bring them back, I'm sure that those here at the outpost will be most grateful.
How grateful would you say that they are? Perhaps grateful enough to part themselves with some of their wares?
Well, I mean, this is just a small, humble outpost, to be sure, so there's nobody of any real wealth here, but, I'm sure that whatever means that they have to offer, I myself would, This is my late husband's wedding ring. It's the most valuable thing that I own, and I would hate to part with it, but for my son's safety and safe return, I would gladly give it to you. Methinks it may be worth as much as 50 gold pieces. Possibly even more.
Well, it's as good as payment as any.
As for the other parents, I could only hazard a guess at what they might be willing to offer, but, at the very least, the woods is but half an hour's walk, and for people such as yourselves, what threats could the woods possibly offer you?
None.
None. We will take care of the issue. Now tell me, what is the name of this child of yours?
My son's name is Fredrin.
Redrin. Okay.
Is Tolgar getting a book out? Like,
Yeah, he is.
Tolga the Barbarian.
Okay. He writes it down, and he says, for payment of 1 ring.
Yes, this is fine.
Sign here.
I never learned to read or write, but I'll make my mark for sure.
I don't know how to write either. There's just symbols on it of a kid.
So basically, you drew a picture of a stick figure boy and equals ring.
Yeah. I did.
He didn't have the education, so he had to give him some
That's literally it, isn't it? There it is.
This is his internship. We let him handle the books.
Kid equals ring. Oh, there you go. That fan art.
Somebody fan art that.
Any of you can do it. I mean, any of you can do it.
If I can do it.
In fact, you should all
Open a
do
new
it.
map
Everybody
screen. I got
should send
so much
fan
to
art
look up.
of that right now. Flood Twitter with it. Make it a thing.
Yeah, I already did.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna look at the woman and be like, "There's a chance your children are dead. We will bring back their corpses."
I must confess, I've come to understand that could be a possibility, but I hope against all hope that it isn't.
Death is not the end. Trust me. Let's go, guys.
Seems pretty bloody final to me, but there we go. Well, I'll be in the tavern. Just come find me. I'll be in the corner by the fire. I shan't leave until you return. So,
We appreciate the information.
yes, please save the children. Save my son.
Will do.
Will do.
Oh boy, can do.
Okay, she kind of politely bows and backs away, and then swings around and scurries off into the night, heading back towards the tavern. Oh yeah, basically right now you are right next to the stable. This building here to your right is the basically closed general stores. Seeing as apparently the entire family that owned it were murdered.
Oh.
That's right.
And that the house that they lived in is here directly north of it, which is probably also empty.
Wow. Okay. We will head to the woods. The woods!
Okay. To the woods you go then. Alright, much as the woman said, Halsey Woods is little more than about 30 minutes walk for a good stretch of the legs. As you get closer and closer, you can you can pretty much see both sides of the woods. As it begins to loom closer and closer, it seems to almost gradually get longer and longer and longer, and eventually, to your left and your right, all you can see is trees. As you start to get closer to it, you can hear, strange animal sounds coming from deep inside the forest. Nothing you've never heard before, just what would seem to be a bit of an abundance of them.
Okay. Any drumming noises?
Drumming noises? Not right now, no.
Okay. With my eagle eyes, am I able to see any strange outlines from on the forest edge that seem to not fit the scenery? My eagle eyes.
Tolgar action figure. Also comes with a kung fu grip. Alright, okay.
That was an interesting sound.
Give me a perception type thingy.
Okay.
Ooh.
Alright, eagle eyes. Honestly, all you can really see is dark shadows of trees. The moon is kind of setting down off to the right and behind the tree line itself. Or, I say setting, it's kind of like risen above, shining down. You've got about a half moon. So while out here, there's plenty of vision for most people to at least see. Clearly, once you enter inside the forest, it's going to be pretty dark. The trees themselves look like they're fairly packed. So, you know, being the type of year it is, the trees themselves are pretty full. They're all deciduous trees, oaks, ash, stuff like that, beech. So, very large, thick, full canopies would be up and above and ahead, above you, loitering down over your heads.
Is there any noticeable path or way that people would go to and from said woods?
From where you're looking right now, nope. If you want to kind of scour the southwestern edge to look to see if you can find any, you are free to do so.
Yeah, I would do so. I mean, just...
Yeah, I think we'd be looking for a more obvious way in.
Okay. If you're doing that, those of you that are actively doing so, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Ooh.
Come on, come on.
Alright, nope, after kind of going up and down, all of you collectively looking, really doesn't seem to be any distinguishable path. Not even anything like a deer tracks or deer runs or anything like that. Honestly, looks like you could go in absolutely anywhere. Of course, being that it is pretty much pitch black, it's not the most efficient time of the day to track anything.
Efficiency doesn't matter.
I would totally just enter without second thought. Just start walking in.
I would too.
Okie dokie.
Walk right on in.
Alrighty. You stroll into the woods. Okay, do you have any kind of particular plan of action? Anything that might be considered a marching order?
I think Tolgar
Tolgar
would
first.
take the lead, followed by Emlyn, then Thelonious, then Kyla.
Yeah.
I think
Probably.
Thelonious would cast dark vision on himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he
All right.
does it all the time. So
So now Thelonious and Emlyn both can see pretty darn well in here, leaving Kyla and Tolgar as blind as bats.
Perfect.
I mean, Tolgar, of course, you can see a long way, and you can see better than most humans, but it is still very, very dark. And with no visible light sources to latch onto, it's mostly just shadows.
Let's cast some light. Do we want people to be aware of us?
that I don't care. So choose.
Jeez. Alright.
I mean, on the one hand, we'd be visible to anything looking for us, or I guess on alert. But on the other end of that, if they notice us and act, it's a lot easier for us to find them.
This is true. Thelonious, cast you light.
Alright, what do you want to have Thelonious cast it on?
Tolgar's axe, like usual.
Okay.
Sword,
you have a
right?
sword now, yeah?
Or sorry, it's a sword now.
You want him to cast it on the longsword?
Yeah.
Alright, okay. So yeah. It begins to glow in the dark like a bright torch. A beacon of hope in the darkness that is the woods.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Which pretty much nullifies the need for, anybody to actually see in the dark or anything like that. So,
Nice.
okay.
Alright.
Into the woods you go. And so you're kind of going single file. How much gap between each of you? You're all pretty close together or spreading out?
Not with the light, I think we could probably do like a 5-foot gap between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
Alright.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okie dokie.
Listen for chanting or...
Alright. So you're gonna
Looking
try to let some kind of audible thing guide you in whatever direction, because otherwise you've got 17 acres of woods to fumble around in the dark.
Yes.
I think we would try to go towards the center, right? So we start in the
Yeah.
southwest, so we go northeast-ish.
Okay.
Guesstimating center-ish area, right? Like,
Just try to cut your way through towards the center of the woods. Alright. Okie dokie. Yeah, you managed to work your way through the trees with the light. I mean, there are still times when suddenly you have to kind of duck as a low-hanging branch almost has somebody's eye out or whatever. The forest floor is very leafy. There's a lot of plants, a lot of sticks. This is an old wood, so almost every other step you're hearing a snap of a twig, a rustling of leaves, a crack of an old log. So unless everybody wants to take great care and move very, very slowly, you're not exactly silent. Obviously, you're not charging through this woods like bull in a china shop, but to a keen ear, you would be definitely heard coming.
I think that's kind of okay. for what
Okay.
we're trying to
All right,
do.
after about 10 minutes of wandering through the woods, suddenly you hear... and it sounds like several large objects suddenly take off into the darkness to your right. Maybe probably 70 or 80 feet away from you is where you hear the noise, and literally you just suddenly hear this loud rustling of bushes, and a very kind of broken cadence as the sound of their feet hits the ground, more like a as they disappear off into the darkness.
Animal?
Well, Emlyn can see for 120 feet, so could I maybe see?
He can see for 120 feet in the dark, but he can't see through this level, this denseness of trees.
Okay, makes sense.
So, yeah.
I can just swing my sword toward that way. Like, what was that? A deer?
Sounded
Horse.
like a deer.
Centaur? Huh.
Which one's more appetizing to you, I wonder?
Horse or centaur?
No, horse or deer.
Oh, horse.
But now I'm wondering. So we could ask the centaur questions before we dispose of them.
I'm gonna look towards where the sound came from originally at the bush or whatever, and start heading in that direction.
Okay. You pick your way through the trees and kind of come to a... It's like a very small clearing. And when I say small, it's probably... There's a very narrow beam of moonlight that kind of shines down through the trees. There are indeed some bushes there, and a lot of kind of very low and mowed down plants. Like a lot of the top of the fauna has been kind of removed.
Okay. Are there like animal tracks that are just around this area?
Kyla, you want to have a look?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, without tracking skill in a forest like this in the dark, I'd say your chances of actually recognizing animal tracks are slim to none.
I'm gonna shine my longsword out for you to look, kind of like a beam, like a beam.
Because that's how light works. It's a flashlight. All right, look there, Kyla.
Okay. All right, Kyla. Yeah, you don't exactly see tracks so much as the way certain, low branches and saplings are twisted and bent. The way a lot of the plants have been gnawed down. It's pretty clear to you that some kind of vegetarian animal was grazing here. What it was, you're not exactly sure.
It's nothing to be concerned about then.
Unless, of course, it's omnivore.
Or perhaps a leaf-eating alligator.
Oh, wow.
Yes, those very real.
And they're called algae gators.
They grow to be about 15 feet long on average.
Yeah, not as large as alligators, of course.
That's almost as large as me.
It's the diet. It's the diet. Yes. So, I wouldn't be worried about it. Continue on.
Ah,
If it's an issue, it'll come back.
if you say so.
Now that I say it that way, I don't quite like it.
If it's an issue, it'll come back. Let me just tempt some fate real quick, says Kyla.
I'll lead the way. This way, northeast. And I'm gonna keep walking.
I'm gonna rake my knuckles on a tree a couple of times here.
Rake your knuckles in the forest. Possible employment. You got to rake. Go for it. Sorry. Okay. So you're going to continue heading towards the center. Okay. Another 15-20 minutes passes, and somewhere in the distance, you hear a very faint boom, 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 boom.
I have an idea.
Boom, 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 boom.
Please don't play the drums back to them.
Oh.
What's that? Your idea?
Well, you just ruined Tolgar's cunning plan, didn't it?
And I just halfway take my drums out and then put them away. Right.
I was like, I've got an... Okay, no.
That really was his idea, though.
I can believe it.
They've given us our heading, so follow the sound.
Should we extinguish the light source
And follow the noise.
It's clear that the sound is still a good distance away. I mean, it's very faint. True, it would be muffled probably by the amount of trees between you and it, but it's clearly not just around the corner.
Maybe as
Okay.
we get closer.
Yeah. So keep the light on for now.
All right. Continuing to move in that direction, slowly but surely. Boom, 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 boom. And as you start getting closer, you can now hear somewhere in amongst the boom, 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 ting, boom, 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 boom.
Oh, it's just
ting, boom, 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 boom,
band
boom,
practice.
Boom, 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 boom,
We
boom.
can leave.
As soon as the oboe kicks in, you'll know. Suddenly,
The didgeridoo goes.
we all remember it.
There
The
we
one
go.
song that you all
One
learned on
time
the
at
recorder.
band camp, you were beset upon by a dead guy and.
Okay. But yeah, you can hear what sounds like a ting, like some kind of high-pitched bell or something being struck.
I think at this point we should extinguish the light and try to stealth.
All right,
Yeah,
that's the thing. Anybody that
Well,
wishes to attempt to do that,
Does Thelonious have a silent cone spell thing? I don't know.
I don't know.
Polonius is silent cone.
I mean,
I forgot
So,
what it's called,
I mean,
but,
Kyla. Kyla
Do you have access to Theo's sheet, guys?
Oh, Kyla can't cast silence. That's what I was thinking of.
No, Gore, we don't.
Too bad. I'll fix that though.
Okay.
Hang on.
But silence is not something you can cast on like a target.
Ah, right.
grouping.
Okay,
It's like a zone.
gotcha. So maybe. Okay,
There you
cool.
go.
So normal stealthing.
Normal stealthing. Regular stealth.
The unsolicited, non-magically aided kind. All right. Then yeah, give me some stealthy perception checks.
I have some stealthy goodness.
Come on, come
So
on.
stealth.
Hey!
Hey!
Oh,
Yay! I bet on myself.
Natural 20!
I bet on myself. All right, so Jane Ivana with the first 20 of the evening. And if you bet on her, you have coinage, which is most of you. So, there you go. Booyah. Everybody there, one coinage.
Hooray!
All right, okay, so this is the awesome part of these sort of things. I need somebody to roll for, that was for Theo. Okay, so Tolgar, remembering his hunter training, begins to walk sideways very, very slowly, taking very great care to avoid each and every twig. Kyla, equally as quiet, takes down a low, stealthy poise and rustles sideways along the bushes. And behind them, you can hear shh, 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 as Emlyn, not giving a shit, just walks straight forward in a regular path, and Thelonious Conch. Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, your stealthy efforts really don't matter because as you're all together, any noise that the only thing you can hope is if anything does see you, or hear you rather, maybe Kyla and Tolgar won't be singled out first.
Oh.
All right, okay.
good. The two mages will go first. That's good.
Get rid of the casters.
What could
Alright.
possibly go wrong?
As you come getting closer and closer and closer, I'm going to go ahead and move this back just a little bit because I don't think you'd be blundering into the clearing quite so much. And all right, ahead of you, you see what potentially could be described as a sinister sight. Oh, I do have drums, sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What you see for you appears to be 3 fairly small humanoid figures standing around what looks like about a 6, probably closer to... it's probably more like a good 15 by 15 solid slab of wood. From this distance, you can't really make out any markings on the wood, but you can definitely see at the top northernmost point is a large deer skull covered with a full assortment of antlers, probably a good 16 points. To the left is a small, kind of very crudely designed tent. Almost like somebody just stuck some sticks in place and then threw a huge canvas over it. One of the figures, who has his back to you, is wearing long green flowing robes. A pointed hat, very similar in design to Thelonious, is clutching a staff which appears to have an ominous glow coming from the tip of it, and has a book in his or her right hand. To his immediate right is another small individual in kind of brownish robes, holding a book in her hands or his hands outstretched in front of him and chanting from the book. To the other side, to the northern end, hovering overneath the ram skull, periodically sprinkling something out of a pouch onto the large piece of wood, is a third individual. They are all no more than probably... the one closest to you may be no more than 5 foot tall. The one to his or her right may be no more than about 4'4", and the one on the opposite side also probably not much more than 4 feet.
What?
Are they dwarves?
It's hard to tell because you can't really see any of their physical features because of the hoods and the, all the robing. But you can definitely tell that they're not particularly large. Dwarves,
I want to know is how they're
halflings,
drums.
goblins, who knows?
If
Yeah.
they're not playing the drums.
Who's playing?
Who's playing this
Okay,
song?
that's a good point because there are no visible drums. None at all.
Alright. Oh, should
You can
Do
clearly
they-
hear them coming from the clearing, but none of the 3 are with drums.
Are they saying anything that we could hear?
There's definitely some strange chanting going on. But it's not in any language that any of you understand.
If we can sneak around, we can come at them from 4 different angles.
I'm gonna turn to everybody and say, "You do that." And then I'm gonna turn back and cast a spell.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
It's gonna be darkness. It's one of my tiefling features.
Ah.
And I'm basically gonna cast it like right over here-ish.
Okay, hold on.
Kind of like cut between myself and them.
Alright, shall we once more?
Like right here.
Alright, so darkness is 15-foot radius sphere.
Yeah, so, right. So it's not very long. So it's just like this area, basically.
All right, hold on.
No.
Right, give me a pinpoint once more.
Okay. Like right here. 15 feet in every direction.
So, kind of... darkness is like about there.
Right.
All right.
And right after I cast it, I'm just gonna hop right into it because I can still see out because my special dark
I'm going to
vision.
go ahead and make it a little thicker. Okay, all right.
Nice.
So I have the devil's sight, so I could see outside, like, not blind.
All right. So all of you basically can't see past this point here, so you can really only just see the one holding the book with her the hands open at this point, because directly in front of you, everything else is suddenly obscured by blackness. Emlyn,
Okay.
Yeah.
stepping out from underneath the tent, emerges another small figure. This one
There's
has
the drum.
drums.
Just playing the drum.
As he goes and stands on the opposite side. And he is now building as the chanting begins to get closer and closer to some kind of ravenant crescendo, he is keeping the pace with the drums and getting faster and faster.
So did they notice or care to see the dark? Because I imagine it's dark around the circle, right? So
Well, it's very dark here. They're in a clearing, so there's some moonlight shining down on them. But all of them seem to be so engrossed with what's going on in front of them. None of them really noticed a thin area behind them getting a little darker.
Okay. I think I would. begin my-
Okay, so if you are going to try to stealth around there, so first of all, Emlyn, you cast it and then you want to jump into it, right?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to make a dice roll for that, because if you suddenly dive in there, there may be some rustling.
Okay, I'll go back to where I was.
Oh.
Thelonious has dark vision on him right now.
Yeah, but I
Does
don't.
that mean he can see
Yeah,
through the
it does.
darkness?
I don't think he can.
Doesn't
It's
see
Oh,
through
okay.
magical
No, it
darkness.
doesn't see through
Okay.
magical darkness.
my
Okay,
devil sight does though. So
Devil's Sight does.
yeah.
All right. Okay, you notice that the one with the pointy hat kind of lifts its head as you dive into the circle, but then begins to continue to wave the stick and clutch the book, and his head glances, or its head glances to the book periodically as it continues to chant. The chanting is fairly high-pitched for the most part. All right, Kyla, you seem to want to skulk around the edge towards that other large tree. Go right ahead.
Yes. Okay. Move silently doing so. If I can.
All right.
Eh.
You're not particularly noisy, but you're definitely hearing yourself and knowing that you're not going as quiet as you possibly could. All right. At this point, you you wouldn't notice anything at all because you can't see squat. Emlyn, you're aware of the one with the drums. Glances his head to the right, and looks in the direction of where the sound that Kyla just made. Fortunately, Kyla is shielded by magical darkness, so all he sees is blackness. And after just a... as he's standing there, kind of... he just goes
Okay.
back to drumming.
I'm gonna use my awakened mind feature and look at Kyla and just say, "You're lucky he didn't see through my darkness."
Darkness.
Darkness. I was gonna say something else, but then I was like, oh, I meant to say darkness. And then I'm gonna turn to the others and using the same feature and say, "Get in position." In their minds.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue skirting up around.
All right.
Try and get a position behind that tree.
Okay. So you want to kind of just move yourself into a kind of underneath the tree behind the trunk so that you can kind of get a clear line through to him.
Yeah,
All right. What is in position for Tolgar and for Thelonious?
I think Thelonious would try to be behind like a tree around here.
All right, so he's gonna give me a give me a stealth check then for him.
Oh boy!
As he walking cane and all tries to stealthily move behind that tree. Hearthstone, thanks for the cheer, buddy.
Pardon me, Twig. Anybody got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, he's pretty quiet for an old geezer, so yeah, he moves himself into position.
Oh God.
Without spurring any attention from the little group of satanic evil ones, or whatever they are. Okay, Tolgar, it's after being as stealthy as you could have ever possibly been prior to this, where's Tolgar gonna head?
Well, Tolgar is going to attempt to head 40 feet this way.
Like through the tree?
Yeah. Well, behind the tree.
So, I mean, are you going to the open clearing here? Is that where you're aiming, or
no? Sorry, more over here.
Okay,
Closer
so to
Theo.
kind of. All right. Yeah, the path that
So
you
my
took
attempt
kind
is
of.
to go like here.
Okay, so yeah, kind of behind this tree and then underneath the other one. That makes much more sense. Give me a stealth check for Tolgar.
Oh, come on, Tolgar.
All right.
Everybody else has gotten into
Big
position.
money.
Come on,
Everybody else has
Schwartz.
done a stellar job up to now.
money.
Even.
11.
Not so quiet there, Tolgar. Are you gonna cough to try to cover the cracking twigs? That's classic Tolgar. Because that will muffle it completely. Oh no! Don't worry. It's one of those coughing birds.
Boy.
Alrighty.
Nothing here.
Nothing. Tra-la-la.
And drums in the deep.
Chicka, 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 chicka.
Dun, 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 tsh, tsh. Okay. All right. So you're all in position. I guess under the circumstance, perhaps initiatives might not be a terrible thing to go ahead and get down.
Okay,
Probably.
I can do that.
I will try.
Ooh.
Ooh!
What? No.
Well, I need to have me too.
Natural 20.
Tolgar hits another nat 20.
Oh!
Everybody gets one.
Really?
I'm upset about getting a 19.
Even though your 19 still beats out Tolgar's 20.
Yes, I'm very upset.
Okay, so Kyla with a 27. Tolgari with 24. Emlyn, 3.
Yeah.
Anyone want to roll for Theo?
I'm trying.
Underneath
His
conch.
initiative is sad.
11.
What a sad.
And I shall
sad
roll for the Sinister Folk.
man. You mean probably the good guys, and we're doing something awful right now. Let's kill children.
Okay. All right. Unless you guys have any other game plan, Kyla, you have the first chance to act.
That'd be a heckin' cold shot. And I don't know if I could get it from my vantage point, but part of me just wants to shoot a hole through the drum. No, I'm gonna hold.
You could, but you'd probably have to shoot it through his or her chest cavity.
Yeah. So maybe not. I'm just gonna get a good view on things and hold my action for now.
Okay, what are you holding it for?
I've just got basically my eyes on the area and a bow in hand.
But no, what I mean is like, if X happens, you want to shoot.
Oh, if like an immediate threat seems to pose itself,
All
yeah.
right. Tolgar.
Yeah, Tolgar has his long sword out,
Mhm.
and he's looking around, believing that something else will happen. He will ready his action to attack.
Okay. The minions in the center technically are unaware of this, so even though there is no surprise, they don't get an initiative at this point. So Theo, what is Theo doing?
Probably more the same, right?
All right,
I can't imagine him doing something first.
Yeah.
Emlyn. And if you do
Actually, I think-
nothing, I foresee a problem.
No.
I
Emlyn's
think Thelonious would be doing like trying to figure out what kind of arcane thing is actually happening here with his
Yeah.
Endless knowledge.
All
Let's
right,
see.
you can have
The
Thelonious
arcane.
do a knowledge
I
check.
mean,
knowledge
Emlyn
arcane.
would have obviously been doing that while people were getting in position too.
Okay, yeah.
But-
So yeah, Theo and Emily, give me Arcana check.
okay. Because this would absolutely dictate his next plan of action.
Okay, Theo 16, Emily 19. Okay. Theo definitely recognizes it as some kind of summoning magic. Emily, you recognize it as summoning magic, but doesn't sound exactly right to you. Something seems off with it.
Like they're not doing it correctly,
Maybe,
Or- or they know something I don't. That could be it too.
could be. It's more likely that they're mispronouncing stuff.
Okay, so that's good to know because
Yeah.
what I was gonna do.
It's more likely that they're mispronouncing stuff. So, I mean, it's very much not likely that this is just a version of the spell that you haven't quite heard. Maybe it's their accent. Who knows?
Okay.
And maybe accents don't matter in demonic summoning spells or any summoning spells. But maybe they do.
So I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy,
Okay.
and I'm gonna have I can have up to 3 events happen.
Right.
I'm gonna have 3 events occur as I emerge from the darkness.
So you're going to
In
emerge from the
plain view of all of
darkness towards them?
Yes, I'm gonna start with whispers. It's 30 feet range, so I'm gonna have ominous whispers begin in the center,
Okay.
and the ground
that's
is
so
gonna
good.
start shaking a little bit. And then with my voice booming, I'm gonna step from the darkness and be like, "You're doing it wrong."
Okay. Are you leaving the magical darkness up?
I am leaving the magical darkness. I have my hood down, so my horns are up, and I'm undead, so I look creepy anyway.
Okay. Well, as you step out, now you're closer, you can clearly see that this is a pentagram, a very stereotypical pentagram in a circle, ram skull at the north. None of the other points seem to have anything. And yeah, you sort of step out and you're doing it wrong. And almost as soon as you do that, the drummer is like, boom, 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 boom. And the drumming stops. And the one across from you, right here, looks up from the book with a gleeful smile. And begins to quake. The one on the other side that was sprinkling the stuff is like... And then the one in the robes with their back to you is like... You hear... What you doing? Keep going! Keep going! It's working! It's working!
Oh my god.
At that point, the one across goes... And starts pointing He's like, what? He turns and sees Emlyn about less than 10 feet away, standing there in the dark. Clearly he is startled by this as he drops the book on the floor and spins around and leaps backwards, clutching his magic staff, which now much closer, Emlyn, you can tell it's actually a piece of wood, and it has a firefly tied to a, basically, there's a small jar that is suspended with a firefly in it, as he's like, well, what do we do? You're supposed to appear in the circle, Your Highness.
I have chosen to appear how I choose to appear.
Okay. The one that was holding the drum is kind of is hanging from his neck, but he has dropped both drumsticks to the floor at this point. Anyone else want to do anything while you observe as Emlyn frightens the living shit out of these minions of darkness?
This is too good.
Okay.
This is the best.
Okay. They slowly move around to the other side of the pentagram.
Can Theo summon like a larger version of Emlyn above him, like a shadow casting, like he's larger than life?
Like using minor illusion to make him more threatening to them. Yeah?
Like put something like ominous or glowing or something behind him. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, so he looks. Yeah.
He's already got darkness behind him, so
yeah.
I think.
So any kind of illumination between Emlyn and the darkness is just going to make him like this huge glow behind him because there's nothing.
I want that big shadow. Yeah.
Okay, this big ominous shadow. Okay. So these three here, the top three basically, are now on their knees. The middle one is crying. I don't want to play anymore. And it's very apparent they are children. All of them are young children. The one that has been doing the talking kind of looks at his crying friends, and then clutching the book. We are your humble servants, Your Majesty. Grant us presents and powers beyond our wildest dreams.
So I'm gonna just turn my head with the crying one to Kyla. Do I see Kyla? Or I mean, I know she's there.
Probably. You're probably aware, but I don't know whether you'd see Kyla.
Okay. Mm.
I mean, at this point, I'm probably peeking out because, face it, there's no threat at all. But, and I'd want to see it. So.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna quite loudly say silence.
He kind of like. And just clutches the book to him very, very tightly.
Is it a big book?
I mean, it's... it's pretty big.
Mage-handable? Because I don't want to flub the first interaction.
I mean, for a kid, he would have a hard time supporting the weight of the book in... I mean, he was kind of holding it in his whole arm like this before as he was standing there.
Right.
So, I mean, he would have a hard time holding it physically in one hand.
Right, so I'm just going to gesture and cast Mage Hands.
Okay.
And basically have the hand grab the book to bring to me, basically. I want to see what the book is.
Alright,
10 pounds? I mean...
I'm going to say probably just about. I mean, paper is heavy and it is a big book, but 10 pounds is probably... It would be far more entertaining that it does work than it doesn't, so, yeah.
I just don't want the hand to try to grab it and fail and have the book and be like, "You're my lord?" Like, can't even...
You're a shit demon. Okay, yeah, so that you basically have the book begin to lift, and he immediately lets go of it in fear and terror as the book floats through the air towards their dark lord.
So... I'm gonna look at the book, see what it says, if I can decipher it at all.
The book.
Maybe I need Thelonious.
Okay. The book itself looks pretty damn authentic, to be honest. It clearly is a very sinister tome of some form of demonic summoning. You can tell firsthand that this is a very, very old and ancient book. The question is more, where the did this kid get it? But yeah, as you kind of look at it, you're very able to see, okay, yeah, the kid didn't know how to pronounce half these words. That's the problem. If he had have done, and if he had a grain of magic in his body, maybe he could have summoned something. Who knows? And incidentally, the circle is completely wrong, and there are none of the proper markings and whatever, so...
Okay. So, I'm just going to look to the kid and be like, where did you get this?
It came to us! It was a gift from your majesty!
A woman or man?
We found it in a room. There was a woman that was staying in the room, and a man.
A woman in all black?
I didn't see her, I only heard her voice.
And you stole this from her?
Well,
Or-
no, not exactly. They went downstairs, and when they went to shut the door, it didn't close all the way, and I heard them say something about great power and a ritual, and how they would be able to talk to the Dark One, and he would be subservient to them and grant them all their wildest dreams. And then I went inside because I was so curious, and the big book was just laying there on the bed, half poking out of a big brown bag. So I picked it up, and then I heard people coming up the stairs. So I opened the window and climbed out off the window ledge with the book in hand, and shimmied along and down off the roof. And at that point, I got too scared to put it back, so I kinda kept it. Of which the one sitting next to him then says, "We're going to summon demons."
Adorable. And I'm going to turn and like, Kyla, we have thieves on our hands.
I'm going to actually come in through the darkness and come up behind him. And just like
I shoot the darkness. Okay.
no, I'm walking into the darkness and I'm just be like, I'm going to basically play up this demonic aspect.
Right,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna be like,
Get your theatrics ready.
What are you going to say?
Thieves, huh?
And are you coming out of the darkness or remaining in there?
No, I'm remaining in the darkness, but I'm gonna stick my arm out and be like,
What did they take? Give it here, give it here.
I'm just going to hand it behind me.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I
so
can't
yeah,
see
basically
it.
an arm emerges from the black, and then you hand it a book, and the arm descends back into darkness with the book in hand. As they all just continue to stare, and at this point, the one that was crying now isn't crying anymore. I think he's probably just run out of tears and is just kind of sitting there staring at the floor and doing the
Silence, my child. You have done wonderful things. Cry no more.
You're going to hear the book's like pages flipping loudly but fakely. Like I'm just flopping it side to side. I can't see what's on it anyway.
Okay.
Adorable.
They have talent. They have talent. Here. And I'm going to fumble around, grab those 2 sacrificial daggers that we got earlier, and
Okay.
hand them back out. I'm like, give them these. They'll put it to good use.
I'm going to turn,
I'm loving this.
take the daggers, and return kind of holding them hilt out. So I'm holding onto the blades.
Okay.
Like, For a start, I agree. And I'm gonna magic hand them back to the kids. One of them to the crying kid.
Okay.
Give it to the crying kid to shut him up.
Okay. He just kind of like, as he sees the dagger float towards me. Please I don't want it. Please take it away. I'm sorry. We didn't mean any harm.
So what are the other kids doing in regards to the crying kid? Like, do they?
They kind of keep glancing at him, but they're all terrified in one way or another. They're just showing it in different ways. I mean, one is like the shy kid who is just staring at the book, pretending like if she doesn't look up, none of it's real. You've got the one kid, clearly the ringleader, who initially seemed fairly intent with trying to converse with the devil that he thought, or demon that he thought he summoned, and now he's realized that this is far beyond where he wanted to be. The one with the drum is like holding the drum and rocking backwards and forwards like a security blanket.
So I'm gonna say, be happy, children. You have done a great service today, and you shall be justly rewarded.
What? Rewarded? What rewards do you have for us, Your Majesty?
So
Give them a task. Make them bring stuff here, like a drop point. Make them go steal more stuff, Evelyn.
So hearing the voice behind me, I'm actually just gonna put my head into the darkness, so like cut off.
So his head like just
Just vanishes as I listen to Kyla talk. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, hey. I'm just gonna I'm gonna say, this woman you stole from, did she leave or seem to miss the book?
There was quite a commotion. We ran and hid, and after that they left, and well, there was lots of screaming and yelling, and I think some people got hurt, and it wasn't long after that somebody said that they were sending for the magistrate, and before the magistrate arrived, this other group of people came, and one of them was a priest of the sun god or something, and he said that he was looking into this strange murders, and it was strange because it was a good while after they'd left that these other folk in strange robes came, and after they left is when people disappeared.
Is one of you named Frederick?
How do you know my name, Oh Majesty?
Your parents are, of course, looking for you.
They
think you dead.
What did my father say? Is he with you, or is he or did he ascend? Did he go up or down?
No, they're still in town.
My father's still in town. Oh, you've brought my father back. Is that the reward?
Oh. Oh, I see. I just kind of looked down to the ground like, oh no.
His soul remains. He has unfinished business, you see.
Do you know where this lady went? The one who stole the book from?
No, Your Majesty. I don't.
Why are you still afraid?
Well, I didn't honestly expect it to work. It was more a game than anything else. I didn't really expect it to actually summon any beings of great power.
Well, you should definitely not stop.
But
So continue your practices.
we would need the book back, Your Majesty.
Of course. And then I'm gonna go back into the dark. wait here. And I'm going to go back into the darkness next to Kyla. Kyla. They don't pronounce anything correctly.
As children.
Right. We should help them do things correct.
Okay, so are you suggesting we abduct one of them and let the others run back into town and make the chosen ones?
You are almost unhearable, I'm afraid, Satch.
Oh, I'm trying to speak down so that it wouldn't seem I'm yelling.
No, you're speaking down. Sounds like you're a mile away.
Let me whisper in your ear.
But do you want to suggest, like, we, I don't know, treat one like a chosen prodigy of the bunch and take them along so you can train someone to continue your work or whatever it is? I don't know what you're implying with that.
A Warlock's Apprentice,
It's
Chapter
not-
1.
It's not something we're equipped to help them with immediately, and now we're in an awkward state because you just walked back into their idea of, well, I imagine this is what hell looks like to them now.
I wouldn't know what hell looks like.
Right.
Give me the book.
Yeah, he probably only got to hang out there maybe
Yeah, I'll
30
I'm
seconds.
gonna hand him the book back.
So I'm gonna mage hand the book back to the circle,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say, "Wait there, children." And then I'm gonna take Kyla's hand and kind of walk to the other side of the darkness,
Okay.
to the trees, and basically try to go back over to where the others are. Quietly, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, so we're stealthing.
I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
okay.
At this point, they're scared beyond belief and staring at the darkness. Even if there is a slight noise, they're not going to pay any attention to it.
Okay.
They're terrified of what may come out of the black.
Yeah, that's gonna last for 10 minutes. So,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna be like, Zolgar, come here.
Right. I'll walk over. Yes.
The children stole the book from the witch that was traveling with DeWints. This is something that, well, it doesn't impress me. I don't have that feeling. Is interesting. No?
Did they know where she was?
No, but it would appear they set her back maybe a little.
Good. They don't know what direction she went?
They didn't say.
I'll go talk to them.
Wait, Togar.
Oh,
You should charge through the black. They'll love it.
alright. I am going to raise my longsword
Okay.
and then go.
All right. So as the 7-foot monstrosity comes screaming as loud as he can out of the darkness from underneath the tree, of course they all spin around, seeing you, pretty much falling over themselves backwards to the ground, in an utter jumble of children, kind of literally just collapsing all over the place in utter terror.
You stole this book from the witch. Tell me which direction she went in, or you'll all die.
Alright. Give me an intimidation roll, Tolgar.
Okay. Will do. Oh, what if I fail this? Oh. Okay.
Fail to intimidate a child.
At this point,
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
God.
Okay, yeah,
It's just a little bear.
so they are now beyond terrified. I mean, it was one thing to talk to a demonic entity, but in one way you're scarier, because you are a very real and tangible threat with a glowing sword, and you are a monster of a man. So, yeah, they are just now either The one that was holding the other book has dropped it and is now screaming in a high-pitched scream, holding her ears and screaming at the top of her lungs. The one that was crying has now wet himself, as you can see a small puddle of liquid begin to form on the huge wooden board. The one that had the drum is rolling on the floor and just begging for his mom to come and save him.
Oh no.
The one that has the little pointed hat. Please don't kill us! Please don't kill us!
You, Mini Theo. Where did the witch go?
We don't know. I told His Majesty that we never saw it. When they started screaming and yelling, we ran here into the woods to get away because we thought that they would kill us.
I can't think that.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the into the dark. And there's gonna be the voice from the shadows here and be like, it's kind of my fault for doing that. I love it.
Children, please. If you wouldn't mind coming closer.
I don't think any of them are going to do that voluntarily at this point.
Yeah. I'm saying it out loud enough so that maybe Tolgar would hear.
Tolgar would hear for sure.
Who's that? Who are you?
So, hearing that, I'm just going to reemerge.
Okay.
Definitely helped out here.
I'm going to say, stay your blade, Tolgar. Children, I want you to succeed with this chosen course. Children.
They're just staring at you with tears sobbing down their faces and snot running off their nose.
If you continue doing this, learning from the books that have been provided to you, or that you stole, you will gain great power.
Look at us.
Fucking killing me,
We
Jane.
did the same thing.
So I will present you a gift. Sleep in your tent tonight. I will look over your books and make it more pronounced.
Yeah, they're gonna sleep, all right.
Go into your tents. I will take the book and I will, to the best of my ability, transcribe it into something that you could pronounce and enunciate to continue when we are gone.
Okay. They're still terrified beyond belief. They're not moving. The comprehension of rational thought has probably long since left these children at this point.
Look over to Solgar and be like, "You've broken them."
I thought that's what you wanted.
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna relinquish the darkness.
Oh, that means I'm. Not that they're paying attention.
And I'm gonna bend down and take the books from them. I imagine they're not restraining or
No. Well, the one book is the book that you've already seen. The other one is basically... It's just got scribbles and scratches in it and stuff like that. This is just a notebook of some it's a book full of empty vellum pages. So, something of value, because, I mean, it is a book and it has paper, which is not cheap, but this is no book of arcane knowledge.
Okay, so I'm gonna take both. I'm gonna turn to Tolgar and be like, "Put them in their tents."
We need to bring Fredrin back to town.
They're fine for tonight.
Where are we gonna find the witch? Keep going? Or was this where all the ruckus
So as
came?
you say that, you hear, perhaps the witch has found you!
Oh.
Oh! Heyo.
Ah! Oh no.
Oh.
Dang it. We were all so spread out.
All right, okay, so basically, like, all of a sudden
God.
around you, you just see as thick and twisted thorny briars just emerge from the ground, almost erupting, blasting dirt as they do so, and build like a huge big wall of thick black dripping thorns all the way around you. So Theo and Kyla, you literally see this, and you are aware of a voice that is on the other side of all of this. Thelonious still has magical darkness, so he is aware of a ugly, hideous, green-looking woman that literally stepped out of the trunk of the tree.
I think Theo would attack her, or would he try to talk to her? He tried to talk to her.
I think at that point Theo would probably. Oh no, I'm thinking like Kyle, aren't I?
I mean, these thorns, they just encased us, right? I mean, they're not hurting us or anything, right?
Not at the minute.
But they look like they're not to be played with.
I probably wouldn't play with them.
You could take one of the kids and test that theory.
You could.
Can we see through those within? Can we see through?
No, it is pretty thick and
And how tall does it go, actually?
a good 10 feet.
Okay.
I mean, they look very thick and dense as well. I
Interesting.
mean, you can't see through them.
Right. And the kids are just dumbfounded, right? I mean,
Pretty much. I mean, honestly, at this point, what do they care? What is going to scare these kids more than what's already happened?
right. Especially since
They're
they don't-
already scarred for life. They'll probably never speak again. They're probably just bibbling idiots at this point.
Good.
Good.
Uh,
Yes.
So, I mean, from within, I'm just going to say, we wanted to speak with you. Witch of the wood.
Okay. So Kyla and Theo. Kyla, what would you like to do under the circumstance?
Well, I can't see, and there's a voice over here,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna try and see over there. So I'll probably try and sneak up to the backside of their tent here and try and get a good look
Okay.
that way.
All right. Give me a stealth check. Alrighty. And let's see. Alright. Okay, whoever or whatever that is doesn't seem to have noticed you. She certainly hasn't looked in your direction anyway, as you sneak down and crouch down behind the makeshift tent. Which is literally that. It's
Yeah.
it looks like some kids dug a hole in the ground, cut some wood, made a couple of crosses, stuck them in the ground with a crossbeam, and threw a tarp on the top.
Yep. Okay.
What is Thelonious doing?
It's hard to answer.
I think maybe if he saw this go up, he might just attack. Oh.
You all get to make the consensus decision.
That's guys.
I mean, see, my only problem is Thelonious knows we're here for answers, right? And just blindly attacking might not give that.
Okay, so you try to be like,
But-
excuse me, do his thing.
I mean, he knows that we were trying to get answers from the children,
Yeah.
which appeared did something that was I mean, he would know that's not obviously a good thing that happened, right? Encasing us. But he doesn't hear any of us going like, ouch, or ooh, or, you know, we're in pain, right?
Right.
Phew, my arm hurts.
Hey,
These thorns are...
Oh,
Ouch, Charlie.
oh, no.
Ouch. Ow. Oh, Charlie. Those thorns really hurt.
See, I honestly think he would either... Well, I don't think he would give his position away either. Like...
So you want him to sit and skulk behind the tree and say nothing?
No, I don't like answering for other characters.
This is what happens when you're not here, you see.
Yep.
Your decisions, your actions may result in the death
I guess it
of
depends
the
on
conch.
it depends on Thelonius's standing with witches. How does he feel about witches? Would he recognize them as magical peers with a similar level of interest for power and corrupting? And, well, I guess that's more.
Could he use illusion to make him sound like he's speaking somewhere else, like over here? You know, instead of where he's at, and try to talk to her that way.
Like throw his voice at the center of the actual.
Like at the
he's
center of the
enclosed.
pit, maybe. Like he's also enclosed. Can he make his voice come from there?
I'm sure he probably can if he wants to burn the magic to do it. I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to burn the magic though. It's pretty frugal.
Well,
he's a magical miser. He doesn't just spend magic unless he has to.
Honestly, I think he would cast Dispel Magic on the Wall of Thorns.
okay.
Yeah, because if Tolgar gets out of there, then it's over.
Right?
Alright.
So it's not like an overtly hostile action, but it is something that could help us, you know?
All right. For each spell 4th level or higher of the target, make an ability check using spellcasting ability. The DC is equal to 10 plus the spell level. Okay. Theo needs a 16 or higher.
On his spellcraft, right? So...
Good enough.
But no, it's a spellcasting ability check. So whatever he uses to cast spells,
Intelligence
which is
check,
intelligent, so it'll be an intelligence for him, and he needs a 16 or higher.
So it's +3. He has to roll a 13 or higher, right?
Doesn't he have proficiency in anything, or does that not count?
I don't know. You've got his sheet. I don't.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any of the save proficiencies checked.
Oh shoot, he doesn't. He's been doing this wrong.
Well, wizards have...
Wizards have int.
I know, but is that there's... I'll
If
figure.
you
I'll
check
I'll
that,
figure
it puts it
out
at 7. It should be at +7. We're gonna have to slap his wrist after this one.
So, yeah, I mean, is he a straight wizard?
He's a straight wizard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, and if he is a straight wizard, level... What level are you guys?
9.
9?
Yes.
Alright. Excuse me.
Oh, I had all this stuff like ready to go, but so it's a +4 if int is one of his things which I assume it is,
I'm
right?
sure.
Oh, I'm sure it is, yeah, but I'm trying to see what the other one is for him, unless he did anything different. I don't know what all of his other stuff that he took is.
All right, so it's 1d20 plus 7. So you want to roll it, Satch?
I'll just press the save button, and then the submit
Wizards
button.
are con and int. Okay.
Well, I mean, if he it depends. 19, that's a pass. Okay, so if he didn't take anything, let's see. All right. That will work. Okay. So he does that, which brings the wall... Basically, it just immediately retreats down into the ground almost as quickly as it appeared.
So I'm just going to step in front of the children, facing the witch.
Okay. So she kind of like grins at you evilly, and she says, My, somebody does have some talents, don't they? Which one of you is it? Step forward.
We just want to talk.
Oh, we can talk all you want. Which one of you did it? Which one of you took away my beautiful thorns?
The children. Just kidding.
He says, yes. How do you feel now? Bringing your children into the woods to play little games. Oh, we're going to have some fine games now, aren't we, sister?
Oh, sister.
Ugh.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yes! This is going to be Jess! You hear that kind of echo from the other side of the clearing.
Are either of you Porthen DeWint?
Does Tolga really ask that question?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Either of you women Porthan to win? Okay.
Is this Porthan?
That's what I thought.
Did they respond to that?
Hang on.
Are you rolling to see if they're Porthan to win?
Yeah, rolling on the random Porthan de Wint table to see if they are or are not Porthan de Wint.
You roll a d100, and then if you get a 100, you roll a d100, and if you get a 100, you roll a d100. And if that's 100, it's Porthan to win.
Yeah, that's it. By sheer random. Okay, right, they just kind of both glare at you and continue to make annoying, craspy hand gestures. All right, Kyla. We're going to go in order of initiative because I know how you people are sometimes.
You people.
Yeah, you people. Well, it's not. Let's be honest. It's not unknown for you all to be doing something and then Kyla to go, "I shoot her."
True.
Yep.
So
I mean,
if Kyla has an intent on shooting anybody, it probably should be declared at this point.
I guess the way I'll put it is I'm holding for the moment I see movement in any way that isn't this.
Okay. Tolgar.
Yeah, my action is readied towards this one here. If she starts casting another spell, then I will start to charge.
Okay. Theo.
You'd probably feel the same way about the witch who came from behind.
Yeah. He's probably... I think he's taking
Yeah.
beads off right now, honestly.
He's probably trying to...
Yeah. Taking some
Yeah.
beads off.
All of
magic
them.
missiles. just a couple, right? Like,
Yeah. So he's probably picked one off by now.
Maybe
it
crouches
takes an
down.
action.
Okay, so you
he's
definitely
kinda
need to
hidden.
if you're picking beads off, you definitely need to record that.
Sorry,
He's
Snugs.
gonna hate us.
Yeah, he's
Because
gonna hate us.
basically once the bead comes off, it is a magic missile in your hand ready to go. So it's hold it indefinitely
I'm thinking-
don't pick your nose with it, that's all I'm saying.
I'm thinking he'd take 2 total, right, Satch? That's fair. I mean,
Because each one does...
Do it.
I'm looking his... Okay, each
It
one
does-
is level 5.
Nice.
9 charges of level 5. So you'd probably take off... what... One of them is 7d4 plus 7.
oh, so we just take 1 off.
Yeah, just take 1 off and have it ready.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna step forward a little bit, and I'm gonna be like, "These aren't our children. If you want to kill them, be our guests. We offer them to you as tributes."
Okay.
For a question, if you want to answer a question, we
So it is their turn. And both of them are beginning to cast.
I'm shooting.
I'm charging.
All right. Okay, so if that is the case, let's just switch this up a fraction.
That part where we actually just saved kids from some witches by terrifying them.
Okay, right, Kyla, you've got a ranged arrow knocked ready, so you're a bow. Your arrow is going to hit reach the hag long before Tolgar will, so you will be going first. Plus, of course, you're ahead of him on the initiative anyway.
Cool. Okay, so all kinds of neat stuff with this. I have fancy longbow. Here we go.
Oh my.
I beat him in
so
initiative.
fancy.
Beat him in initiative, so I have advantage on the attack.
You do indeed. That's a hit.
Okay. So then that plus the sneak attack damage, because I beat him in initiative, is 6. There we go.
For an additional
Nice.
7.
Very nice.
All right.
And then I gotta shoot him again.
And then you second arrow.
It's gonna be really hard to cast, man.
It's 5e. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
You can do all of their damage except 1. The only time that matters if they have a concentration spell up.
I'd like to have a word with wizards after this.
Different rule set. That does
I think
not.
that's a normal.
Okay, yeah, that one flies through the trees, rustling through the feathers as it does so.
Okay.
All right. Thelonious is also ahead of them in his range. So does he wish to hurl his glowing bead of doom?
Yeah.
Yes. Where's this
Yeah,
one?
let's get some 7d4 plus 7 damage.
4 plus 7.
With the Mad Matt who's who are wasting his bead. He looks mad too. He's like,
Yeah, he got wide.
who's rolling it?
Not me.
Oh,
Go ahead, Shagget. Go ahead.
Alright.
Shagget, this is all
Alright.
you.
7d4 plus 7. Roll high, please. Ah!
All right.
That's pretty
Not
damn
bad.
good.
22.
Yeah,
All right.
pretty good.
Okay, the balls of glowing magic slam into the creature. She screams loudly from the right. All right, their turn. Okay.
Wait, no, I was still
Togar
charged.
was charge, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, Togar is
Yes.
still ahead. Okay.
So,
Absolutely.
I am charging. I'm enraging and then charging.
Okay.
And with reckless attack.
All right.
So, with my longsword. So, here's my first attack with advantage.
Advantage. Oh, yeah, that'll hit.
Yeah, it'll be plus 5 damage for the charging.
All right.
And then I will attack once more, finish it off. Just a normal one.
Which also hits for 12.
Just gonna go ahead and kill it.
Oh no, it's far from dead.
Oh.
Sorry everyone. All right. Okay. You are enraged, so that's nice.
It is nice.
Alrighty.
What was it? What kind of damage are you weak against? It's fire, right?
Yeah.
No.
He hates fire. Lots of really bad fire. That's what he hates. Alrighty, let's see here.
I love that joke.
Okay.
It's not even good.
Alright, so through the cackling and the laughter and the bizarre screeches, suddenly you all in that little bundle there, so Emlyn and children are surrounded, basically. You are absorbed in a massive swarm of insects.
Okay.
It is... The spell itself is Insect Plague.
Give Emlyn the plague.
Basically, biting locusts are filling the area. When the area appears, each creature must make a Constitution saving throw. The creature takes
Children are good at that.
some stuff of damage. So yeah, you're gonna want to go ahead and give me a con roll. That's a good
Okay.
save. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll for the 4 children.
Bug bites.
That's what you get when you
Worst
hang out in the woods.
camping trip ever.
1,
Oh, he's
2,
dead.
3,
Oh, he's dead.
and 4.
Oh, she's fine. She's okay too.
All right. Okay. So, this is how much it hurts.
Oh no.
All right. So 20 points of damage. You take half of that if you successfully saved. Even with a successful save, you have 4 children on the ground. Not very well. Move out of the way for a second. Basically, they scream and scream and scream as they are bitten and chewed upon and crawled upon, and they go down. Emlyn, you took some damage.
10 damage, yeah.
So, there you go.
It's gonna be hard to cast spells, you know.
All right, and that is a 20-foot radius. Big ass swarm. All right. Now on the other side of that. There it is. And okay. Seeing as he blasted her, she is going to return the Father as a black cylindrical fog appears directly over it's like about a 10-foot tall, about 60-foot radius appears kind of above where Thelonious is, and suddenly shards of lightning come crashing down out of it, descending towards him. He may make a dexterity saving throw to try to not be butchered.
Did he react with shield as well, or nah?
It's up to you.
I don't know this spell as well. What level is it?
Low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shield is just for armor class. It's not for like.
It's not gonna,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's not going to help him on this. This is not even to hit him.
Can he
Yeah,
react
doesn't
with
look
Misty
like
Step,
it.
or is that just a
No, that's not a.
dang?
He has to dex save it. Here we
Okay.
go.
Go
I
for
believe in the old man.
Yes. Some
Ooh.
Yeah,
dexterity.
didn't believe in him very much.
it. Ah!
25! Ooh.
Dead. Wow.
25 points of lightning damage as it comes blasting out of the cloud. Incidentally, that cloud is still there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the map.
Maybe it's concentration.
No, I don't want that one. That's crap.
That's beautiful.
And
Oh, great.
all right.
I think he's
Okay.
gonna run up there and hit him with a quarter.
Emlyn.
staff there.
So you are currently in the bite circle.
For dramatic, badass guy walking away from an explosion that happens behind him effects, I am totally going to use my movement speed to walk 30 feet outside of the swarm.
Okay.
Like, shrugging it off, like insects are crawling all over me, and I just unfazedly walk towards the hag. Like a badass.
Okay.
And I am going to cast Blight on her.
Blight. Alrighty. Okay, she will attempt to make a save of the con variety. And fails miserably.
Yay!
37 points of necrotic damage.
So I like, there's like a centipede on my shoulder. I just brush it off.
Okay.
There's a couple of them crawling around inside of you, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
In your eye sockets.
Just coming out of my
Out of
ears.
his mouth.
I want her to see this. by the way.
Okay, you blast her with the blight. And yeah, 37 points of necrotic damage. Okay, Kyla.
Hard to cast spells there.
Yep. And her spell, in fact, both spells are concentration, so they will need to pass concentration to succeed.
I'm gonna shoot the one I've been shooting.
All right.
I'm at disadvantage for the shooting into melee bit there. Right.
All right.
There it is.
Yeah, bloody Tolgar, always in the way.
Always in the
But it's okay, because while I'm shooting someone adjacent to one of my allies, I think I get advantage, or not advantage, but sneak attack damage if I hit. That's the way that works.
Oh, that would have
would've
been
so
nice,
nice.
wouldn't it?
Oh, the 20.
That is not a hit, I'm afraid.
Ah.
It's close, but
So I'll shoot again.
Do it again.
Press my luck. Killing children.
neither is that.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, those are bad.
Sorry.
bad, bad, bad.
It's okay. You'll kill them next round.
Right.
Yep, 2 misses.
All right. Tolgar.
Hi, I will continue in my raged state to attack this hag, trying to bring her down
All right.
to death. Oh,
Bring her
God,
down to
this
death.
one.
You hit her
her
once
Ah,
for 13.
it's not great, guys.
That's not great.
No, it's not. All right.
That's bad.
Theo. What does Theo want to do?
Oh, that's right. He's not here. Probably move as to not continue this
All right.
getting
Where's he moving?
killed thing.
Towards
Forward,
him?
yeah. It's like the quickest way out, isn't it? I mean, he's technically on the edge and he can't move that way, but
Well, he can. If he wants to move backwards, he absolutely can. Just because the map physically ends there doesn't mean that there's a invisible barrier.
I just feel bad about putting him like that. So I think he'd just take the quickest route out of the clouds there. Just probably there. I like that.
Like,
leave him
just to
there.
get out of it, or is he going to run a full 30
yeah,
feet?
and then he'll probably move forward, yeah.
Alright.
Get out of the area quickly and then move forward.
All right,
So,
well, yeah, that's about
I think.
That's feasible. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he's probably shooting with his gun.
With his gun. Where did he get that? I don't recall
Probably
that.
one of his highest damaging spells.
Like the gun
Kyla
spell,
has disadvantage because shooting into melee. Right?
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Yeah. But also hit with sneak attack because the target is distracted.
Right.
So it's worth it if it happens.
Oh, that's right.
This is a shatter. What's shatter? That sounds fun.
And
Gonna cast
it's not a
Spider
homebrew.
Climb.
It's if when you're firing into melee combat, if something is within 5 feet of someone in melee, then I think it's a disadvantage on that.
Shooting him to melee is homebrew. Huh. I like it. It makes sense.
What's that? No, shooting into melee is basically ranged attack in close combat is like technically there's no in 5e. It was one of those things that how do I put it? Makes absolutely zero sense. Because combat is one of those things that people are ducking and moving and stuff like that. So to try to shoot a creature in, like, who is actually in melee is kind of one of those things that just makes...
Just a little realism for our stream.
Well, you know how we are. That's always the problem with 5e, which is why we have a few things that we change
let's
just
be
to...
real. If you're training an arrow into melee where people are bouncing around, you're not going to be as good as if they were just
And that's the point.
alone.
And unfortunately,
Like,
because 5e has
you know,
advantage or disadvantage and no other plus or minus thing, then that's kind of why it works that way.
Ooh.
I
I just thought,
Because, I mean, there is a rule about shooting into cover and stuff like that, but...
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But anyway, yeah,
like,
there you go.
so Tasha's hideous laughter can be cast at higher levels, yeah?
If you can, it'll say so.
I think. There's no higher level. Okay. Then
Yeah,
no.
it would say so. Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna say that'd be a great way to knock out a caster.
Right.
But no, I don't even see. I know he has magic missile. I just don't see it on here. I'm gonna cast spider climb on the hag. There's flaming sphere. Oh, it'd be level 1, wouldn't it? Or is it a cantrip in?
And yes, for Death to Death, yes, in 5e it is homebrew. I mean, not homebrew. Sorry, in 5e it is not... No, what am I saying?
It
You're
is
getting me confused.
homebrewed.
In 5e it is homebrewed, yes. Shooting into a
Yes.
melee is a thing in D&D, but there is no specific rule against it in 5e, so we homebrewed it, if that's what I mean to say, yes.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Falling over my own words. Where
So-
were you?
Casting a magic missile, probably. Because I don't understand the rest of this spellbook, even though I helped him make it.
Right.
Highest level. Let's go.
Yeah, just level 4 blast.
Level. Can you do level 5 yet?
You can do level 5.
Let's do
Oh, he
level
has
5.
one slot of level 5, but
Let's do it.
but Thelonious doesn't ever do that. But he's also pissed, I imagine, so probably gonna do it. Yeah, he's gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Level 5.
Which
So
So
is
3d4,
five-
so it's 5d4 plus 5.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll that because, yeah. It's easier for me. I'm rolling this as Thelonious. I'm doing this right. I guess
Or
not.
15. Alright.
I mean, after a blight, that probably hurt.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Alright. It is hag time.
That's the best.
Okay, so first of all, yeah. Both hags need to make a save. Because they both took a plethora of damage, and I shut down a sheet, which I didn't mean to shut down, so let me open that back up. Hang on, where is it? Thank you. All right. Alright, let me get my spell back open. I accidentally closed the wrong friggin' window. Alright, okay. So they need... Let's have a look. So the first one, this one up here, took a total of 13 points of damage, so 10 would be higher. So needs a 10 or higher con save to continue to cast. Okay. And 10. Okay.
Ah!
I'll go ahead and roll the other one, who took 20... no, 15 damage this round, right?
Yeah.
So 10 is still higher. And also passes. Alright, in that case, that one's moving it there. And this is getting moved to here. Okay. Alrighty. She is going to descend lightning from her cloud. And we've also got the insect. So, Snatchmo, you need to make a con save. as
That's
the
my
insects
favorite.
swarm around you.
My favorite. I'm right on par with the kids here. I'm done.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Chew on that.
So that's a fail.
Chew on that. -1. Here we go.
He's got 31.
Wasn't bad. 15 points.
That's half my health.
But you took it. Alrighty. And okay. And then Emlyn.
Yeah.
Alrighty. You can make a dex save.
My best stat.
Yeah, even though the cloud is above both of you, it can only target one. Whoa! Alrighty.
Yay!
Natural 20.
So you only take half of that anyway.
Hey, another 10, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay. And it is now Emlyn's turn.
Like a continued badass, I'm going to approach this hag using my movement.
Yeah, I mean, Emlyn doesn't really know what pain is anymore. It's more just a case of, I don't seem to move as well as I did.
You're just gonna walk up and vampire touch this guy.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Of course, my vamp touch acts to actually hit her. I mean, it still is activated, but I have the worst luck with vamp touch. I don't think it's ever physically fully landed.
You got that horse that one time.
True. I gotta go to it.
Right.
And my hand is gonna be wreathed in awesomeness, and I'm gonna try to vamp touch her. Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Yeah, not with that, I'm afraid.
We are sucking.
It's bad rolls. It's bad,
Bad
rolls.
rolls.
So Thelonious is leaving.
Okay, Kyla, you're up.
I don't like this person. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of this swarm if I can.
Yep, that's not hard. You can get out of it easy enough.
Moving up closer, and I'm just gonna keep trying to knock this person down
Okay.
with arrows.
All right.
Specifically. Okay, so here's my attack. Oh, it was better.
Would have been. And the other one?
I love how it says longbow of expenses, and you keep missing.
There you go. That's a hit for
It's an
8.
expensive thing, and I get the sneak attack.
And you get sneak attack bonus. Yep.
6.
For an additional 6. Alrighty. That is...
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay. Tolgar.
Hey. Yeah. A little bit of a one-trick pony here, but it usually works. I'm attacking again with my longsword.
That's 2
Ooh.
hits.
Nice.
Yes. Okay.
For a total of... Alright, yes. This time, a good solid swipe across the shoulder and drive the sword through the creature's chest. It is deceased, drops to the ground, screaming and with blood curdling. As
You
blood
look like shriveled
drips
lettuce.
out of her mouth as she collapses down to the floor.
And I'm gonna use my move action.
Must have been Romaine.
Probably
start
was.
I'm gonna start heading that way.
How much
so
can you move? You can move 40?
yeah.
Alright. You get over to the dead kids. Excellent.
And
Alright,
I eat
Thelonious.
He got out of the cloud, right?
He hasn't moved yet. He was going to. This is this turn.
Okay.
Yeah, he gets out of the
So
cloud.
where do you want to put him?
south?
Yeah, like directly next to her at this one, I'm sure. Because the cloud doesn't want to get closer to the hag.
Yeah.
Although it is directed, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets closer to the hag and does what?
Alright, moving then.
Just a regular magic missile, right?
I'm gonna say uses the quarter staff to bop on the head.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a joke. That's a joke. He would never.
That would be
It's so
fun.
below him.
That'll be something different.
It's so below him. He would never.
Like a firebolt, maybe? Like, you know.
Yeah, firebolt. He uses that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're not playing Thelonious creatively enough. There would have been a grease spell down. Like, under the kids.
Right. Alright, so what do you want to dump? What's he going to do?
Probably a firebolt.
Firebolt, okay.
Yeah, fireball. No, not firebolt. Fireball.
That hits for 12. A good Singy Bernie. Okay. With that, it is her turn. Okay, she is letting this go. And she steps into the trunk of the tree. Like, just literally steps backwards. And disappears into the tree itself. Emlyn.
Interesting.
Vampiric touch the tree.
I don't know if you can. Can you? I've never thought about that. I mean, it is technically a living thing, right?
Plant cells, animal cells. What's the difference? It's a witch. Burn it.
I mean,
We'll find the witch. May we burn her?
No, see, is it a creature? Is the question.
A tree is not a creature, no.
It's a treacher.
It does not fall under the classification
Make a
of a
melee
creature.
spell attack against a creature within your reach.
Right.
Can I do a regular claw attack on the tree to heal up? Because that doesn't have any.
Well, technically, it's something living in a life force type scenario. I mean, trees don't really count. They have no heartbeat. They have no pulse.
All right.
You don't have any tangos, so
Yeah.
try the side.
Okay. Well then, yeah. So that makes sense. I'm gonna use my move action to back away from said tree
Okay.
to the dying children,
All right.
or the dead children, whichever's first. And
Now, you got to consider they all took a minimum 10 damage. They're not even level 1 wizards at this point. They are children.
they're dying. I think. Or
Negative
no, it's
10
just outright.
HP, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Those guys might have heartbeats.
I am going to ready my action looking at the tree. If the hag emerges, I will shoot Eldritch Blast at it.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All right. Kyla, what do you want to do?
I don't know anything about this other one, and my light perception is limited, so
Right.
I'm just gonna come up to Togar like, wasn't there another?
Right over. What? What the? Where is she?
Right. So at this point, I'm just gonna assume it ran away, and I'm gonna start beheading the witch,
All right.
so we can bring it back to town.
Not a problem. You lop her
if
head
we
off.
need to. Yeah.
Spread out. Look for her. And I'm gonna go to this tree and start looking around for the hag.
All right.
Conch is obviously going to say, well, she went into here, you know. Tolgar.
Into the tree?
Into the tree in front of me.
Into the tree. She climbed the tree?
Tolgar, if you would entertain an idea, do you still have that axe?
Of course.
Would you mind burying that axe into the tree a couple of times? Not bury in the way.
Sure.
that- yes, of course. I'll make some room.
He just backs up a little bit.
While that's going on, I'm going to actually be looking at the kids, if any are still alive or in a dying state. Or are any of them still alive?
I am not going to do a dozen death saves.
Okay.
But I am going to roll a d4.
Yes, no, I don't want you to roll nothing.
No, I just don't want to waste the time doing it. All right. Out of the 4 kids, one of them is still... His heart is still beating. He is barely alive. He is mostly dead, but not completely dead.
Yeah, I'm vamping him.
Oh.
Okay.
I am absolutely vamping this bastard kid. So
Okay.
I need health, and he's my health.
Then do it.
It is done.
Wow. What are all those die?
All right. 18 points of necrotic damage delivered.
So I get 9 of that. Yay!
Delicious child.
So we have
Sucking the life force.
Yeah.
3 kids in a grape.
When Emlyn does it, I visualize him doing it like in Hocus Pocus. Sucking the life force out of a small dead child, dying child.
So we tortured these kids and then killed them.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's
We didn't kill the kids.
All right. There is still no sign of the hag.
all right. I take out my axe. So here goes nothing, and I start chopping at the tree.
Okay. You are vigorously chopping a tree
Yes.
and doing a darn fine job at it. Probably doing a better job if your axe wasn't fucked up and half blunt, but the tree is being chopped, and it is slowly but surely eventually going to come down if you continue to chop it.
Thelonious is probably listening for screaming like this.
There is no sound of screaming.
Oh.
No
I'm just
sound of
watching.
screaming at all.
I'm just watching the lumberjack in action.
Yeah, I
Right.
keep going till the tree's chopped.
Okay.
Can you
And it probably
do you
takes you
see
a good,
anything?
maybe 20 minutes to bring down the whole tree with your piece of crap axe, but you eventually drop it. Okay, yep, the tree comes crashing down to the ground.
Tally ho!
I believe the phrase is for Tolgar. For.
Oh, for what?
I don't know. Just.
Okay. I'm gonna walk back to the middle. So that was not what we wanted, was it?
Wrong witch.
Wrong witch.
Kids seemed to know of... I don't think the books belonged to these two. They seem particularly fond of the area.
So you don't think these hags were the ones? They just found us and wanted to attack?
The Halsey Woods Project. The Halsey Witch Project.
So I'm just going to take the demon book and
Okay.
stuff it in my bag.
All right.
Give Thelonious a little shrug, like,
Ah. Well, pick up the one
Shrug
that was
life.
Fredrin. Fredrin was, which one was he? Leave the rest.
I think it was...
The one that he vampiric touched, yes. The boy.
How terrible does he look now?
I mean, they look bad because they're covered in, like, nasty insect bites all over their bodies. I mean, all Emlyn really did was drain the last little bit of life force out of him, and so he doesn't really look any worse for wear because of the drained life. But he couldn't look much worse anyway, with all the huge welts and sores and bite marks.
Togar, stand still.
I am always still.
You just life drained Togar for 3? I mean, if Togar's not going to move and all you're doing is just walking up to him and going, scratching his chest with your nasty claws. Better get that seen to, Talgar. It'll probably get infected. Roll for tetanus. Save versus you can't save versus disease, or you catch tetanus.
Not as well as I hoped, but it'll do for now.
Just stay there.
Just gonna keep scratching him. No, I'm
Stop
not
picking at it.
What is this achieving for you, Evelyn?
I mean, it bloody hurts. I mean, you've got
Just a
huge claw
scratch.
marks down your chest.
I get claw marks on my chest all the time.
It's none. We're done.
Not Anya?
None yet.
It's none of your business.
All right. So yeah, other than a huge piece
Guess I
of
deserve
wood,
that.
laying on the ground with a pentagram drawn on it, a broken ram skull, the corpses of 4 small children, and a really poorly, shoddily made tent. Nothing else seems to be interfering with you in this clearing here late at night.
I say we use the tent to drag the corpses back to town
Let's
with
just
the head of the witch.
Fredrin. We did not ask. We were not asked to bring the rest.
Which one is Fredrin?
That one.
The little the one that has the little,
Mini Theo.
little Theo.
Little Theo? Okay, because I don't remember personally. So we could just bring back the wrong one.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of proportionate, isn't it? What, Theo's got how much longer in life here?
Comparing heights to life.
You could life drain Theo, but you wouldn't get much.
Might get 2 minutes.
Did you search the witch for other items?
I actually didn't.
What a surprise.
Fancy that.
I run over and do that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, these are gnarly old hags. They don't have anything on them, on their person. All their spells and magic is kind of innate, so they don't exactly need to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay. I say we head back to town. This was a false lead.
Aye, but it got us a pretty decent lead. We know that they were here.
Well, actually, let me double check something first.
True.
Let me double check something first before I lie to you.
Uh-oh.
I'll lie to you in a minute, but
You'll lie to cover up the lie, yeah.
Before I lie to you,
I want to check.
let me make sure I'm actually lying.
Um,
I like to know when I'm lying.
That's right. Okay. All right. So there is a. She does have like a staff that is kind of a dull gray looking staff.
I imagine Thelonious would take that.
Yeah, I'll present it to Thelonious.
Okay.
I'll prostrate as I do.
It's a stick, Your Majesty.
He'll detect magic on it.
It does not
Magic.
radiate any magic.
He throws it on the ground.
You totally throws it aside.
Tis but a
Disappointedly. What a piece of crap.
So
I
we
told you what it was.
are we taking the witch's head and the children, or no?
I think we should.
All right.
Fine.
So you want to drag all the kids back to town on the tarp?
Yeah.
Like make a makeshift.
But we're doing this for what? A 50 gold piece ring we could probably sell for, what?
Well,
25?
maybe they'll be inclined to give us more clues where the real witch went. If we
But
brought
then they'll
the
also be
kids.
inclined to ask us more questions about who we are, where we're going, what we're doing, where we've been, how many people we've killed on the way, how many horses we've stolen and then given to a fisherman who we should have probably killed.
How many horses you eat each?
That's all fine. I don't see the problem.
You wouldn't.
We answer what we have to answer. Kid equals ring.
I don't want to do that when there's a Pelorian priest standing right there.
If he gives us trouble, we kill him too.
Easy. I don't want to. Alright, so we'll head back to town with the kids.
All right.
And the corpse of the
And the corpse.
or the head of.
Oh, just the head?
The head of the thing. Just throw it on
Alright.
top of the dead kids.
Okay, well, it takes you. I mean, obviously, you got to get out of the wood itself and travel back to Halsey. It's still probably pretty dark by the time you arrive back. It's the early wee hours of the morn.
Okay, we'll go, I think, straight to that woman's house. Or, sorry, not. She's in the tavern. Never mind.
Yeah.
Maybe not bring a bunch of dead kids into a tavern.
You better tell Tolgar.
Maybe not bring a bunch of dead kids
Alright,
into
how about I wait by this area where we were last, and you go fetch her.
Okay. I'll do so.
Yeah, so
Alright.
I'm gonna stand in the hay with the kids. Wait.
Like in the
Tolgar in the hay with the kids.
in the stable.
I'm gonna wait with Tolgar.
All right.
Well, while Kyla gets the chickadee.
Chickadee.
The chickadee.
All righty. Okay, yep. So you head back into the tavern. By the time you get there, the tavern is all but quiet and empty. But you can see the woman is like half asleep or fast asleep in the chair in the far corner.
I'll just kind of gently shake her awake.
All right. Did you find Did you find her?
We did. We found all 4 children. They were. It's not pleasant. Perhaps we should talk on the way.
Okay, so you're going to take her and lead
Yeah.
her round to the stable.
And then, as I'm walking up, I'm just like, we found them. They were cohorting with some kind of evil magic, or attempting to, and witches were watching and basically laughing as they failed. And it was a gruesome sight. They ended up getting killed by the witches. We ended up fighting the witches, but it was too late.
As you're having this conversation, are the bodies visible, or are they still obscured from her view at this point?
I would say, like, as I'm walking up.
Okay.
It's about where I'm getting to that point. We came back with a witch's head. Unfortunately, that's all we can claim.
Tolgar rearranged the bodies by the time she sees
yeah.
them. They're nicely laid out with the witch head kind of on top.
Okay. Obviously, she as soon as she sees it, she drops to her knees and starts sobbing inanely. Oh, my boy! And after entirely too long and awkward moment of grief, she spits out some thank yous that at least you found the children and you brought their bodies back so that they can be properly buried.
I'm gonna hand her the contract.
She just looks at it, and then she just snatches the ring off of her finger and slams it in Tolgar's hand, almost in utter contempt, and continues to sob over her dead child.
I'm gonna take it and pass it to Kyla. I don't want this.
Why did you?
I just like making deals.
You should just take it and throw it now. And now we have it. We're gonna go and follow us, and then whoop, drop it in the river.
Just drop it in the river. I will pocket the ring.
Okay. All right. Well, put down
Tolgar
gold piece
is
ring.
quite a character.
Put down ring worth 50 gold.
Okay.
Money means nothing to me.
Well, it clearly means something to some of you, because from every great once in a while, it always seems to be Kyla that somehow has to come out with bailing everybody out with cash. So there you go.
It's fun.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was so fucked up. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So with that, it's like we really do need to be moving, and I think this is about the best time for us to shove off.
Okay. So you just want to leave her to her grief and her children corpses and shuffle out of town under the cover of darkness?
I mean, it'd be better than sticking around for the aftermath of having to sign documents and shit. So,
as we leave, I am clawing one of those cats to death, basically.
Oh my god.
As a party gift, I'm just scratching it, like wailing at it like a rabid animal.
I was gonna rob the outpost. So.
What was that? One of the animals?
One of the animals outside, the cats, right?
All right. You can basically rip it to you can rip into one and drain it of as much life as it's got. So I'd say you're probably going to get about 15, maybe 15.
Okay,
hit points
I don't
worth.
need 15, but cool. I'm totally doing that.
All right. And then you're going to head out of town under the cover of darkness, which brings us neatly and tidily to the end of tonight's episode. So I'm fixing to tell you guys something.
Uh-oh.
We're going to get a Q&A. Tonight's episode is based entirely on a true story that happened to me as a child.
Wait. What?
So if you're out there wondering, where do we get inspiration? Where do DMs get inspiration from? So I'm going to tell you a story. It is not a nice story. I was Fredrin in the story at 14, 15 years old. So this is a thing. Let me go ahead and cue up some background music. There you go. Okay, so when I was about 14 or 15, there was this movie called Ghoulies. It's a very old, terrible horror movie where all these kids, this one kid finds this satanic book and he gets all of his friends and they go down in the basement and they pretend to do a ritual, but because the book is legit, he actually summons. Okay, now, please understand, I was 14 or 15 years old when this happened, okay? I am not proud of what we did, but this is the thing. So we had this kid that was an asshole, and nobody liked him, and he was a dick to everybody. And after watching Ghoulies, me and a couple of my friends got this hilarious idea that we were going to pretend to sacrifice him in a ritual to scare the shit out of him. So what actually happened is we got a giant piece of wood, and it must have been, I mean, it took 3 of us to carry it. We drew a huge circle and a pentagram on it, and we painstakingly marched it into the woods, which was about a mile from where I lived at the time. One of my friends, David, had a sheep skull, so we had a sheep skull. We had these little weird glass baubles that we had found in some bric-a-brac shop, so we got those, a bunch of candles. We got these old monks' robes, brown ones, with hoods, and we went down into the woods, we dug a pit, we made a makeshift tent, just like what it looked like on the map, and we basically invited this kid to come and hang out with us, and we were all going to stay the night in the wood.
Oh my god.
Well, so, unbeknownst to this kid, we've all got all this paraphernalia stashed away, and he had stolen a bottle of his dad's homebrewed wine and brought it with him. So of course we're a bunch of 14-year-olds getting insanely drunk on, honestly, something that probably wouldn't make an average adult drunk at all, but we were having a blast and whatever, you know. And so eventually we all, you watch the fire, Lee, and we all go into our makeshift tent and emerge with our robes. Now, we had these fireproof gloves, right? And we had these weird furry gloves. They literally looked like fake bear paws. And I had them on. But we had soaked, I was wearing the fireproof gloves underneath, but we soaked the bear paw gloves in gasoline.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Gore.
So, and we had this old Zippo lighter that just sparked, that was in my hand. And we grabbed this kid, and we dragged him, and we proceeded to tie him down on the giant pentagram and began to chant basically the chants out of the Ghoulies movie, because we basically sat down and wrote them down. And then at the opportune moment, I sparked the Zippo and went, and of course my hands engulfed in flames.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, it was an amazingly cool special effect and it looked fucking awesome. Right up until I realized that the robe was a hell of a lot longer than the glove. And although the gloves underneath were fireproof, the robe wasn't.
Oh my god.
And my robe caught fire. So here we are. I'm running around with my arms waving all over the place. My two friends are in a panic because they don't know what to do, so they're screaming. And all of this is just making the kid tied to the thing even more hysterical. Because he doesn't actually realize that this is all going terribly wrong right now. So I ended up pulling the robe off and throwing it to the ground, and amazing that I didn't burn myself. And finally, we let this kid up and told him it was a joke. And we weren't really going to sacrifice him. And he looked at us and was like, "You're mad. You're all mad. You're all mad." And he ran out of the woods in the wrong direction.
Oh no.
And we lost him. And we don't know, at the time, we had no clue what happened to him. But we all knew we were going to get into some serious trouble tomorrow when he wasn't with us. So we abandoned everything as it was and fled home. And found out that he actually walked 11 miles that night to get back to his house where he lived. And he wouldn't talk to us for almost a week.
A week? That's it?
Almost a week. And we somehow managed to worm around him and get him to be okay. Now, years later, my mom was telling me, I'd moved away and I was now 20, 21, 22. My mom and dad still lived in the same village. And one day we're sitting around a campfire talking. And the subject of the occult come up and Ouija boards and stuff like that. And Mom said, "Did you ever hear about the legend?" She said, "Did you ever hear about the witches of Settlescombe Wood?" I said, "Witches of Settlescombe Wood?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "A few years ago, these farmers were in the wood and they found all this sinister satanic stuff." And I was like, "Oh. Yeah, that was me." That was me and David and Jeremy, and she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, it was all a joke. It was all one great big practical joke. That's all it was, just a huge practical joke. Yeah, don't worry about it." But the entire village had heard about this, so the entire village had come to believe, truly believe, that there was demonic rituals going on in the woods. And it was a bunch of idiot 14-year-olds. Now, that literally is where I got the inspiration for this adventure for tonight. And I had to do it as a fill-in because something happened today that pretty much took up all my time. And it left me really short for what I had planned to do was finish out some content for tonight's show, which I couldn't get to do. So I had to come up with something very quick on the spur of the moment. And that is literally how that happened. So I apologize profusely to my friend who I did that to. And we are actually good friends now, after the fact. But yeah, that was a
crazy
thing.
story for his life. Guess what happened to me when I was 14? I was sacrificed.
Yeah.
Okay, but look at the irony. Like, we came up on this, and the first thing we did was play a prank on them.
So yeah, that was the whole thing. I take no great pride in that anymore. At the time, we thought it was fucking hilarious. But of course, looking back on it, we very probably could have scarred that poor kid for life. And I could have very easily been scarred for life with third-degree burns because I was too stupid to think about the, possible consequences of our idiocy. But hey, you can make a D&D adventure out of anything.
True.
it's even more messed up considering there have actually been kids murdering other kids for Slenderman. You know, that's like a real thing.
Oh, see, this was all
But yeah,
long
I mean,
before
it's
Slenderman was a
long
thing.
before. I know, it's just...
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
That's the thing.
Oh, it's so awesome, though.
So, sorry, that's... as I said, I apologize profusely. But years later, I felt like, you know what? This will make a D&D adventure.
Yeah, an awesome one, too.
So,
That's good.
What can you say? So anyway, if you guys have got any quick questions for us, throw them at us, and we'll do our best to answer them. And then we're out of here until Thursday.
Not to mention now that there's a legend of witches in the woods.
Yeah, that's the best.
Make a D&D session out of sleeping on the train tracks for the night. Totally good.
I told Daft Astoria that I did that in high school, and he was appalled.
That you slept on the train tracks?
I did sleep on train tracks one night because I was cool and a rebel. I was like, I'm going to do this. I didn't sleep at all. And there were homeless people. No trains came, though.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
Why have I never told you that story before? It's not anything I'm particularly proud of, Skinner. I'm just going to say, you know. It's not the sort of thing I usually go, oh, hey, nice to meet you. Incidentally, let me tell you about this time when... It's not usually on the top of my tell the story lists, no.
Yeah.
I have a lot of really weird stories from my childhood.
See, Gordon, you had the Ghoulies, I had The House and The Hole. Those were two movies. Right? Where the house was haunted with stuff happening, and then The Hole, the kid buried up a hole of hell and it had a rocket launcher. I mean,
well, back then, they had a whole plethora of these really bad horror movies.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Troll, a Leprechaun. You know, they were all low budget, barely above B movie. You know, just above the whole B movie thing.
Yeah.
I got Carrie.
Your wife has been giving you stink eye over how badly or loudly you've been laughing. Hey, if I made you laugh, I can tell you
Tell
that
her
kid
the
wasn't
story
laughing.
and see if she laughs just as hard.
Yeah, she'll look at you like, that's horrible. Chucky, yep.
I just pictured like an animated, like a cartoon Gorbad and all of his cartoon friends the whole time. It made it so much more fun.
Yeah, oh, cool that you're almost out of work, Skinner. At least we've entertained you while you're at work. Oh, I'll tell her. I guarantee she'll laugh. Oh, well, that's good. Yep. You love the low-budget 80s horror movies. Yeah, there are a lot of them that are just really cool.
Yeah. Agreed.
Army of Darkness. Yeah, that's a good one. Also appropriate when he tried to, you know, completely didn't bother to listen to the words that he had to say to stop the Walking Dead. Couldn't remember, couldn't be asked, went up there, kind of sort of said the words.
Yeah.
Ratu, Parata, Nickel.
The Gore Witch Project. Yeah, I have to ask them. It's like, have you heard any more about the witches of Settlescombe Woods?
You
That's
gotta,
so good.
You gotta go to a bar in town in a few months or whatever, and just ask that question and see what the drunk people say and record it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're not so proud of the actual event. The idea that you've created, like, a local cultural mythos lore type
I just
thing.
had an idea. I'm going to do something because I don't live anywhere near there anymore, so I can't really get any problem with this. I'm going to pull it up on Google Earth and see if I can actually find it and show you where it was.
What the what?
Uh-oh.
We saw.
Do you think is it a clearing so we'll be able
I
to see
doubt
the
you'll be able to
picture of
see it, but let me go to satellite view.
Hey, thanks, Ninja.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Take your pants off, hit the hype. Alright, there's the satellite view.
Thank you, Ninja. 46 months. Ah.
in it.
I just.
All right.
can't
Okay.
get over
So
that.
here is. Let's see. Zoom in here, and I'll show you where. All right. So to find this, I need to zoom in to where I used to live. Okay. Well, let's see. This Breed Lane. Alrighty. Okay, so this used to be growing up. Whoa, that's a little not where I want it to be. I know I want to go all the way to street level. How do I get back out of this? I broke it. Jane, I broke it. There we go. Okay.
Stop breaking things.
Um.
I demand it.
Right, so this house right here, this used to be where I lived. This one right here on the end, where I've put the little thingy. So if I zoom in here,
Oh, that's so crazy.
it all looks very different now. But yeah, this was my house right here. This is where I was. It's where all occurred. And
Your
down
satanic upbringing.
and so down Breed. Here we go down Breed Lane. Let me take you on a journey.
Journey.
Now, bear in mind, this entire way we are carrying a piece of hardboard. That is a full-size piece, so it's like 12 foot long and 12 foot wide. And we're carrying it, and it's going whoop, 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 whoop in the middle as we're carrying this thing down the road. And, oh, almost hit those cyclists. So this is, as I said, as you can see, this is a fair distance we're carrying this thing.
Jeez.
And this is bringing back some real solid memories. There should be a really sharp turn up here to the right. Right around this corner.
That's a long way, man.
It was a long way. I mean, we're getting close. I can smell it.
No, you were just walking it?
We walked it, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're getting close. There's the field. There's the field. Dun, 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 dun. All right, here's the woods right here. So right on this. Okay, so remember I said there's a sharp right turn. Here's the sharp right turn. And in these woods
remember
right
that.
here, these woods here is where it all happened. So let me zoom out. There's the woods. Look at it. Oh, it's so good. This little tiny wood right here. This farm and this house wasn't there then. But if I recall, I don't know how much it'll let me zoom in, but yeah, no, it won't let me zoom in any more than that. But anyway, so here, somewhere in the center of these trees. Long before, because this is obviously this is obviously new. This was not there when I was there. This was all just open fields, and this was there. The farm was there, although it looked a little bit. It didn't have as many buildings on it. But yeah, right in these woods, right here. So this is it. This is where the actual real story happened. So there you go.
Thanks for the journey, dude.
So, yeah. I don't know what to say.
That's where the Satanists all show
Well,
up.
that's a tiny bit of woods. Well, it's actually bigger than it looks because it's kind of spreads here. Look, it kind of spreads down to a lot more wood here. But I know it was right on this sharp... Or was it this sharp bend? Hell, it could have been this one. Because that does seem a little bit... I knew it was on a sharp... No, actually, it was this one. It was this one, because I remember you could go left, and that's where Jeremy used to live. You'd go up the hill to Jeremy's. So it was in this wood here. It's all part of the same wood, but probably this clearing, too. Probably about there. Yep. And I think I'm almost positive that's it, because there's the pond. So yeah, it was in here. So I just didn't go quite far enough down the lane. Instead of this corner here, it was this corner here. Both look similar, but yeah. So fun. So all I can say is, if you want to have fun, interesting weekend activities, come hang out with me. I can offer all kinds of entertainment, much like this.
When we all get together, we can do a little ritual.
Yeah, we'll sacrifice you.
Shagget.
Oh, you got him first. Okay.
Oh.
Shagget.
Don't sacrifice me.
Yeah. How about Matt? He's not here tonight.
Yeah.
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 Right.
Sacrifice the one who's not here. Yeah.
So, if any of you are watching from the UK and you ever want to go to Settlescombe, East Sussex, and go and check it out, I doubt there's anything that you can find there. There's probably still some big holes dug in the ground, big pits, because we dug a pretty sizable pit in order to build our tent thingies over. So there we go. The only thing that we that was different is we actually had two of these little makeshift tents.
Oh,
So-
see,
You lied.
You done goofed, man.
I know, right?
For shame.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna get out of here. So yeah, tonight was a bit different and off the cuff and fun, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you on Thursday. Y'all take
Bye,
care.
guys.
See you later, guys.
See you later. Bye.
Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on How We Roll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter @Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons and Dragons related, and of course you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also guys, don't forget to keep up with all things How We Roll, follow us on Twitter @HowWeRoll. Check out the website www.howweroll.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
Hi, I'm the Satchmo. I speak for the trees. Thank you for watching How We Roll. If you want to see some more of me, you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter @Satchmo. If not, I guess I'll just see you next episode. I love you. Take care.
What's up, you guys? It's the Snuggler here, and I am back for my second How We Roll campaign. I've been given some guidelines. One is to not name the character that I'm playing. Of course, probably gonna kill my character at some point. And two is to keep this as short as possible. Jane is just so lazy. So with that being said, so happy to be on my second campaign for How We Roll. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so @MaddieSweetTweet. That's pretty much all I use. So check you there. If not, I'm always here playing for you guys.
Shagget here. I play a character on How We Roll. I'm not going to tell you who I play, because if they die, I'm going to have to redo it. I've already done it once, never again. Follow me on Twitter @Aneb_convos, and I'll see you guys on How We Roll.
Hi, Jane here. You may have seen me in such films as Rise of the Fallen or Lyra vs. Legend. Thanks for watching! You can follow me on Twitter @JaneOnTwitch. That's with a 0, not an O. Anyway, I gotta go. The cats. Peace, suckers!
Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on How We Roll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter @Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons and Dragons related, and of course you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also guys, don't forget To keep up with all things How We Roll, follow us on Twitter at How We Roll. Check out the website www.howreroll.com and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
Hi, I'm the Satchmo. I speak for the trees. Thank you for watching How We Roll. If you want to see some more of me, you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at Satchmo. If not, I guess I'll just see you next episode. I love you. Take care.
What's up, you guys? It's the Snuggler here, and I am back for my second How We Roll campaign. I've been given some guidelines. One is to not name the character that I'm playing. Of course, probably gonna kill my character at some point. And two is to keep this as short as possible. Jane is just so lazy. So with that being said, so happy to be on my second campaign for How We Roll. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at MattySweetTweet. That's pretty much all I use. So check you there. If not, I'm always here playing for you guys.
Shagget here. I play a character on How We Roll. I'm not going to tell you who I play because if they die, I'm going to have to redo it. I've already done it once, never again. Follow me on Twitter at aneb_convos, and I'll see you guys on How We Roll.
Hi, Jane here. You may have seen me in such films as Rise of the Fallen or Lyra vs. Legend. Thanks for watching! You can follow me on Twitter at JaneOnTwitch.
That's with a 0, not an O.
Anyway, I gotta go. The cats. Peace, suckers!